It's another best of 5. The first map is Darkness Sanctuary. It's the big one, spawning down in the bottom right-hand side of the map. Playing for Team Expert, it is MMA. And his opponent, spawning up in the top right-hand side of the map, playing for Team Splice, it is Solar. Now, I mean, okay, to be honest, a few weeks ago, I would have maybe thought I wouldn't even have wanted to match up MMA and Solar. MMA obviously still improving a lot as he's recently come back, but he's the guy who said it. Form is temporary, class is forever. So MMA, he's recently been coming back into form after having some very good tournament runs. He won the Ballistic Brawl, I believe it was, and that was no small feat what he did there. He beat some good players. I believe he even beat Keen in it. Him and Keen have been playing each other a lot in various tournaments, so, and that's why it's like, yeah, let's see MMA. Let's see if he can do it versus Solar here. But it should be a good one going on further now. As far as the builds go, I mean, it's Darkness Sanctuary. Personally, I haven't seen too many pro games on this map. I mean, it was played... Okay, my apologies for that. So what we've got going on right now is Solar, just standard macro stuff. Same with MMA. I mean, Reaper expands the build you see 9 times out of 10, then Hatchery, Pool, etc. from Zerg. Now, as far as scouting goes, Solar has identified where MMA is. He knows. MMA, not quite seen where Solar is, as his Reaper's heading the wrong way. Solar looking to take out the third base, knowing where his opponent is. He knows what base to take. There's rocks being destroyed there. So standard stuff out of both these guys. Now we'll see what MMA is going to be going for. He's going for a 2-1-1. You can tell by 2 barracks. And then Stim going to be starting. So this is going to be interesting to see how MMA is going to be able to pull it off. It is Darkness Sanctuary, so maybe he was hoping for a different spawn vertical on this map. There's room to drop, and Terran could sort of bounce between the spots here and here. Of course, Queens with their range. So Solar, if he identifies that this is a 2-1-1, or suspects it, he's certainly going to want to try and spread creep into his main base quickly, or get an Overlord in position. Now, it could actually be hard to have an Overlord in a good position on this map here, but so far the Reaper for MMA getting all the scouting he needs. So there's the Creep Tumor starting up. That's going to be very important for this defense for Solar. MMA is going to be getting ready for his drop. His Reaper does go down. 1 Ling, 1 Reaper. MMA is doing this sort of funny poke out where he moves out with the Marines earlier on. Some Terrans do this to try and catch the Zerg off guard here. And it does maybe force some units out of the Zerg a little bit earlier here. But with the Queens and a few Lings, MMA will have to be careful not to lose any units. Maybe it was just to sort of scare Solar a little bit here. But with those Marines moving out, Solar is probably quite aware of what the build is for now. Just seeing that count of Marines, seeing the move out, he's a good Zerg player. And now MMA's got his 2 Medivacs on the way. He's going to have his Stim. Eventually he'll be looking to throw up a 3rd CC, but he's going to want to get this wall done to be safe from counterattacks. Double eBay likely. And then that's really where this game's going to heat up. Solar does have that creep spreading into his main base there, so that's really going to help with defending this pressure. 1-1 already on the way for Solar. MMA's will be on the way eventually, but it will be a second later. I think Solar may be hard to beat, I'm seeing in chat. I think that certainly may be the case, but we can't count MMA out. Combat shield is on the way. There's the +1, +2, well, his second upgrade, not +2, and then his third CC going to be on the way. So we'll see what MMA is going to be able to get done, but I'm sure Solar has defended this build 1,000 times. So it's really going to come down to the execution for MMA. Now, it's actually interesting to see because MMA is a player who's sort of, lately when he's come back into the pro scene, hasn't really necessarily followed the complete meta builds. So seeing him do something that is as common and as fleshed out as a 2-on-1 is really interesting to gauge his skill level, to see where he's at. He may be able to get a queen or two here. Transfuse going down, but he does have to get out of there. Loses 3 marines for a queen. Interesting trade. Solar has had to make a lot of lings here. Now, lings are never a bad investment for Zerg, but he has had his drone count cut down just by making so many lings here. And he could be going for a counter all-in, because this is a lot of Zerglings right now. 57. And that's a lot more than to defend a 2-on-1. You usually get 32 or so to defend a 2-on-1 for Zerg. So Solar is going a little bit heavy on the links. He's only on, well, he's droning up now. He's going to be hitting 60 soon. But MMA, if he knew how many drones Solar did cut, he wouldn't be as pressured to try and get damage done. He's now moving out across the map. 1-1 is going to be finishing for Solar. MMA going to try and take the best fight possible, but this 1-1 is really helping out the Zerg. And there goes down one of the medivacs. It was a little bit weak there, and as a result, it lost its life. Now 1-1 going to be finishing up for MMA relatively soon, but Solar did take a nice fight there. That fight would have been a lot better for MMA had the upgrades been equal. Hydroden on the way for Solar. Solar, though, has been content just to make a lot of lings here. I mean, it's not like it's bad for Zerg to have lings, but we'll see what MMA is able to get done here. There's just too many lings for Solar. It's just preventing MMA from getting those cute little trades the Terrans like to go for. He's now maybe going to unload. Solar is looking to take a 4th base here. We'll see if MMA is able to scout it. There's the drone. MMA does see the drone, does see the base going up. He could actually maybe try and abuse these cliffs a little bit right now, but we'll see if he unloads there, and he could unload behind this, and I'm not sure if Solar's going to be able to save it. MMA could snipe the space here, we'll just have to see. Solar, though, is going for a counterattack at the 3rd base. This is a very late 3rd base, by the way, for MMA, so taking damage here will hurt him a lot, and then his Marines are forced to lift off, so looks like Solar is just kind of running away with this game right now. Army supply is equal for now, so it's possible MMA could take some good trades. He's actually going to pick off a queen or two here. This is nicely done. Those banelings are slow, so nicely done for MMA, picking off those 2 queens there. Solar not having those lings in position there. But MMA needs to break down this rock tower, needs to get up that 3rd base, get it fully mining. He really needs to break down that rock tower, as that would prevent a lot of ling run-bys. These lings should be breaking that down. And we'll see what this drop. I mean, he's got a good bit of damage done with this drop. Well, nothing major. Picking off the queens, forcing a lot of lings, no actual sort of physical damage. Maybe he can snipe a Bane or two now, but he needs to be careful there. Oh, he's actually going to lose a few Marines. Needs to be careful. Okay, gets out. But he sees the Hydras. Actually going to be shooting those units from the high ground there. MMA cleaning up more creep. Creep is spreading, though, for Solar. I mean, Darkness Sanctuary is a big map, but he's doing a good job starting to cover it up. 2-2 going to be finishing up for Solar far before MMA's 2-2. 3rd base for MMA. He really needs to... he wouldn't really have to leave as many units here if he just broke down that rock tower. MMA 4th base on the way. Looks like he'll likely expand up north. He's going for another drop here. Needs to be careful because of these Hydras. Not sure if he saw the drone, but there's now the 5th base on the way. And he's actually moving north with the moving north with these medivacs, which is so risky. These Hydras are sniffing this out. MMA needs to be careful here. He's got to move these medivacs. He's going to have to boost them. Is he paying attention? He's unloading, so he's going to take a pretty big loss there. Maybe pick off a Hydra, but 2 full medivacs, well, almost full medivacs for a Hydra and a Baneling. Not the best trade there. MMA now poking out, but Solar is looking pretty strong here, as the possibly one of the scariest players in Afreeca world we've ever had makes his debut. Good trade for MMA there, shaving off a few lings, but at the 10-minute mark in the game, the Terran player really needs more than just a cute little trade like that. He also, okay, he did break down those rocks, which is good to see. So many lings for Solar. This is just Absurd. 132 lings. He's now getting Vipers. Solar just... Oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. This is just so many lings here. MMA is going to be expanding up north. And I mean, I guess on the bright side, planetaries are good versus lings, so defending as fourth will be good. But a lot of banelings could be on the way. Ultras are eventually going to be on the way. MMA getting a drop off. Nicely done. Going to pick off the 5th base for Solar. Very well done. That's actually quite a huge pick off for our Terran player here. So MMA not just going to roll over here. Now he's poking in. And with a good siege tank count, it's possible he can always take a good fight. There's a Viper. Just one Viper out for Solar. Not even at full energy. So MMA could always take a good fight if he engages correctly, but the upgrades for Solar will be finishing soon. He's going to have Adrenal Glands, which will make this mass ling be even more scary. MMA going to be moving north once again. There's a few lings and banelings. If he engages this correctly with these Marines, if he snipes those banelings or if he kites back, it's possible he could be able to get some good damage. These drones could actually be exposed here to these Marines. These Marines going to shave off a few of them. Going to be able to trade versus these lings if he's paying attention. Does load up. There's actually not too much there, though, so MMA could maybe find some damage, but a lot more units are coming in here, and this is what the one Viper is going to be for, likely to abduct those medipacks. There's the one abduct, and now these Marines are trapped here. But MMA not wasting time, he's pushing on in. Solar going to be able to shut down that harassment, but this attack, it's going to be becoming very scary, and suddenly our Zerg player could be in a lot of trouble. The Terran's in his natural. I mean, those Marines could just be forfeit here, but MMA actually going to get, is he going to get the evacuation? No, it doesn't even need to. Using these siege tanks, and suddenly Solar is maybe going to die with a open window here. He's trying to hit these ultras, but might not do it in time. Anyway, MMA is transitioning here. MMA, it would be good to see him move this drop down towards that 5th base, but Solar's going for a counterattack right now, and this could be where things really go sour for a Terran player. SCVs are going to run, but these are Adrenal Gland lings with a, yeah, just Adrenal Gland lings here. And now Ultras are out. The tanks can deal a lot of damage to the Ultras, but they do have chitinous plating out already, so they're going to be rather terrifying here. Or actually, no, they don't have chitinous plating. Yeah, no chitinous plating for those ultras, unless I'm mistaken there. But here we see Solar dealing a lot of damage to MMA right now. The 5th base, it's a planetary, but there's actually not enough SCVs to repair this. So the planetary is going to go down to lings. It's going to rack up a few kills first, but without any support. And I think this could just be it for MMA. He's getting a good bit of harassment done at the 4th base here. However, the supply is not looking good for MMA. He had a few more CCs up, but he lost his planetary. He had to lift his 3rd. He's getting a decent amount of damage done, but he's got to run from this ultra now. He's picking off more and more drones of Solar, but he needs to get a lot of damage done in order to sort of come back in this game. He's got a few siege tanks set up. Going to want to bring those back. Okay. Going to land another base, can turn that into another PF, but he can't really afford it. He's floating over another command center, but really needs to drop some mules here. Drop any amount of mules that he can, as MMA is in a very poor economic situation. Now, he does have 4 ghosts. Those could make a play. There's only 3 ultras here, but there's 112 lings, and oh my gosh, 43 banelings. Okay, MMA is dead. I can't hype this up, really. I mean, if in a perfect world the banelings move command into the tanks or something, but Solar's army is rather scary here. Oh my gosh, even more banelings. He just wants to end this game. 73 banelings. That's more. That's just disgusting. So here we go. The tanks are getting set up. There's the one Viper though, and it could blinding cloud these tanks, and it does. And this is going to be trouble for MMA. He gets the snipes off, but this ultra is going to be coming down, and with all these banelings, they're just going to roll forward, and that's going to be it. GG is going to get called. Solar takes the 1-0 lead here. So that was an absolutely crazy game. Very well played by Solar, but MMA looked very solid that match. Interestingly enough, Darkness Sanctuary was MMA's map pick. Second map is going to be Acid Plant. So we'll just have to see what he's able to do. MMA seemed to do alright on that big map. A little bit of harassment. Maybe if he had a little bit more. And I guess it really just went south with that counterattack, with maybe not dealing damage. I mean, he had a strong window to hit, but he didn't quite get enough done there, I guess. Then the counterattack pulled him back. And that was sort of it. And then that one Viper with the last Blinding Cloud just finished him off. So we're going to get these players into the lobby and then get into the next game here. But thanks to everyone for tuning on into the Afreeca world. Now, if Solar wins this, he's going to have to play versus another Terran. But either way, that was a great first match. MMA. MMA could lose the next two matches convincingly, and he'll still be able to say he put up a good fight. Okay, both players are ready. No more reason to delay. Thanks for watching Afreeca World. And we're going to get on into the next game. So, it's the best of 5. Oh, pardon me. There we are. That took a minute. But spawning down in the bottom right-hand side of the map. Playing for Team Expert, it is MMA. And his opponent spawning up in the top left-hand side of the map, playing for Team Splice. It is Solar. Solar, a monster Zerg, one of the best Zergs in the scene for quite a few years now. We're just going to have to see what MMA is going to bring out on this map. I mean, maybe it's time for him to bring out something of his own brand, but going for the generic sort of 2-1-1 there, he didn't look bad at all, so... So, pretty standard stuff coming out of both these guys. Wouldn't expect anything else. We could maybe see a cheese in the next game, but I'll have to check what the map is. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if MMA tried something like a proxy racks. We could always see Solar go for some sort of all-in as well. Oh, that's some pretty beautiful water physics right there. Oh, never mind, it just froze. The water froze. It was pouring for a second, but then it stopped. Oh, that's a little sad. We've got a minute or two to kill here before things really heat up, but MMA has the Reaper crossing the map. Oh, there we go. There's... Oh, look at that. Oh, the water has to be in vision for it to pour. That's why. I see. Or no. That water's pouring and it's not in vision. Is it going to stop? So Reaper harassing a little bit. Forcing that third base to be denied. Well, not denied, just delayed. It was very cute what Keen did on this map. Gonna be able to actually kill off this drone here. Nicely done by MMA. Solar's third gonna be delayed just a smidge. Another drone is moving out. We'll see if MMA is able to delay it. It's trying to get for the third, but it is forced to transform there. Queen's coming in. The Reaper could toss a grenade there. Gonna push it back. We'll see how long the Reaper's able to buy. The Hellions won't be there just in time. MMA gonna, oh, the Queen's actually gonna be blocking it now. Lings are on their way in. MMA not gonna be able to deny it a third time. Actually, maybe he can. He's just trying to be a nuisance now. That Reaper will go down, though. And, actually, no, it's still alive. Oh, never mind. There we go. The Reaper dies. Hellions are now on their way out for MMA. Now, it was an interesting choice to throw the Reaper away when you've got Hellions. coming out. I mean, as they sort of just go nicely together. They couple well. And I think the more important things is why is this... It started pouring again. Hey, there we go. I guess maybe the water froze or something. But more Hellions on the way. Ling gets in, scouts the Banshee there, which is a bit unfortunate. Those Hellions were doing a very good job blocking. Roach Warren on the way for Solar. A little bit, could be for defense, could be for offense, something like a Nidus. Now we've got MMA, maybe going to move in with these Hellions. There's just a few Lings out for Solar, 9, but he's gone up to about 16 or so. So a few too many for MMA to dive in on with the Queens there. MMA, not aware of this Roach Warren either. He's got the Banshee moving to the third base. There's a Spore, which is going to be queued to build. But not finished just yet, so this Banshee could get the drone. But it's actually going to be heading into the natural there. There's the Nidus. Oh, this Banshee. Will it spot the Nidus? Oh. Okay, he spots the Nidus. That's absolutely huge for MMA. We'll see if Solar's still going to go for it. Most likely will. You're kind of locked into something like this. MMA, going to have to panic. Going to have to prepare at home. He's got a CC on the way. He's going to have some Marines that are going to have to look out for the Overlord to try and deny it. If he can, he's going to have to start a bunker. He's starting a Liberator. I'd like to see a Cyclone or two out. Even some Widow Mines, perhaps. Bury them at the Nidus. He's got 2 Cyclones out already. He's going to be trying to get out a Siege Tank. He's going to be landing the Barracks on there. But this Nidus is going to hit for Solar. But Solar's actually backing out, it looks like. He's gone into droning, and he actually canceled the Nidus. However, MMA, he's got the third base up. He's panicking a little bit. But he's got his 1-1 on the way. He's continued teching, and now this Nidus isn't coming. The Overlord's moving in for Solar to try and fake it out. However, when MMA does see this Overlord, he's going to probably clue into the fact that it was just a fake at this point. If the Nidus hasn't hit yet, you're thinking, okay, it's not going to hit. MMA, moving over his third base, has identified that this is a fake, but interestingly enough, Solar did cancel the Nidus. Banshee comes back in, confirms the Nidus is canceled, and that's going to allow MMA to start moving out. And Solar is going to be in a bit of trouble right now. He figured that his Nidus was going to be hopeless if he did go for it, but the question is, how is he going to crawl his way back into this game? He's starting a Baneling Nest, but MMA is up on supply. He's going to be up on upgrades. He's going to have a much scarier army. He's going to have that nice Terran tech, siege tanks, lots of bio. And Solar is going to be in a very tough situation to defend this. He's going to have Roach Ravager Ling. He's going to have Banelings as well, but no speed. Speed will be a while off. And MMA has done a good job harassing this game, by the way, too. 8 kills with the Banshees. Well, I guess 1 including the initial Reaper kill. But Armory is going to be on the way too, which is going to allow Hellbats. So MMA is going to be able to hit a very scary timing here if he decides to go for a poke. He's not going for a poke just yet. I actually just want to see him try and kill Solar. This is when you try and just kill the Zerg. You don't need to drop and harass. You can, but I think MMA could be able to get something done other than just dropping and harassing with his army supply lead. He's going to see this army and maybe think, hey, I could engage that. He's going to have the 1-1 done. Solar's is going to be a little bit later, assuming MMA starts as 2-2. But this is where it could go wrong for MMA. If he loses these units, and he is, that's a pretty significant blow to MMA. Cleaning up a bit of creep when he could have gone for a large attack. He took a bit of damage on the 4th base, but Solar's going to be happy with it. The Hellions are getting caught. And if MMA makes 1 or 2 more moves like this, his lead will suddenly be gone. He's going to lose the Cyclones. Whereas this army for Solar was not that scary. If MMA had gone for a big push, I think he could have done it. He may go for it now, but of course it's not going to have those Cyclones, it's not going to have those Hellions, and it's not going to have those other Marines. And Solar is going to have 1-1. MMA is not going to have an upgrade advantage, so I think that was a pretty big mistake from MMA. Not sort of going for the attack as quick as he could have. Yeah, it would have been risky. There's a chance the attack could have failed, but I think that's certainly something you need to do. But now he definitely needs to make this attack work. Catching the queens is a nice start there. But Mutalisk are going to be on the way back at home. There's no missile turrets up just yet. MMA has not really identified this. He's scanning to clear up creep. He's setting up these siege tanks. Will the mutas be used in the defense? Either way, they're scouted now by MMA. MMA is going to have to prepare back at home for this, or he's going to have to try and keep these Mutalisks busy so that he won't be harassed back at home. But here we go. Lings and Mutalisk are moving across. MMA, no missile turrets up. It is natural. He's got a handful of bio units with the SCVs pulled too. That can be enough to defend, but for now he's poking at the front. This is the important part of the game. There's only a handful of Marines, though. It looks like Solar will be sacking his 4th base in exchange to try and get some counter damage, and he's actually killing off a good number of SCVs, which are over here building the wall. And we could be actually seeing a bit of a base race right now, as MMA does have a bit of production going on back at home, but his units are really scattered in this game. He has yet to start a missile turret in the main, so the mutas could possibly bounce into that, but we shall see. MMA is going to try and sort of come back together to consolidate here. Siege tanks could be caught off guard right by these mutas. MMA, if he does manage to move out and sort of group up, though, that would be very nice. Oh, Banelings are going to be moving in. SCVs are pulled. Good scout by MMA. He needs to pull those Marines back, but massive Baneling connections there for Solar. And now Solar's got the supply lead. MMA's going to have 2-2 finishing up relatively soon, but he's going to be losing a siege tank or two here. SCVs are going to continue to fall. There's a turret just building in the main base. And here come the mutas. This is where a Zerg player has a heyday right now. MMA is going to be in a lot of trouble. He needs to make this push work. And Terrans have bad experiences trying to push into Zerg when mutas are destroying them back at home. It really just puts the Terran between a rock and a hard place here. Although MMA is going to poke in, he's got the upgrade advantage. Now is the time to do it. He needs to kite back, though, eating some massive Baneling connections once again. However, he still may have enough. A couple siege tanks go down to fantastic Crocodile. 1 or 2 of these tanks need to leapfrog forward. The 3rd base is under fire, though. Massive attack by Solar. Solar, though, will be losing his 3rd base. He does have a 4th base up back at home, though. MMA bringing some siege tanks back. Has his wall down right now. Gonna want to try and fix that. But this army could just be crushed back at home. With all these Lings here, it's gonna be very tough for MMA. He's gonna be sandwiched right now, and he's gonna be in a lot of trouble. He's gonna kite back. He's gonna try and use these rocks to his advantage. But Banelings and Marines in tight-knit situations do not go well. Here comes the reinforcements for MMA. It's possible he can still take a fantastic fight. These mutas are actually not being paid attention to right now, but none of them go down there. Not a single Mutalisk has died this game. Solar's done a fantastic job controlling them, and MMA's down on supply. Army supply is relatively even. MMA has an upgrade advantage, but there's so many Banelings right now. Here comes the fight. MMA needs to pull these Marines back right now. The Banelings are getting forward. The Marauders are going to stay there to tank. All the Marauders have gone down, but MMA keeps the majority of his force alive. He's now got a slight army supply lead. He's pushing in. MMA gonna need to siege up these tanks right away. He's kiting back right now. Massive Baneling connections from Solar once again, though. Tanks get a shot or two off, though, so there's not too many Banelings left just yet. MMA could still make something happen, but the majority of Solar's army is moving across the map. Once again, that main base was floated for MMA, but once again, he's taking a major economic blow. He sees the 3rd base, which hasn't been rebuilt, but once again, we could have a complete repeat of the last engagement, where Solar just buys time and then eventually sandwiches the army of MMA. MMA kiting back. Banelings not getting good connections, however, they actually do find a few Marines there, and those Marines just clump up in the completely wrong way, and I think Solar's just managed to bring this game. He sort of forced the hand of MMA and did enough. He's got this base to the right, which has been the MVP for him for the time being, and now there's just going to be too much for Solar here. MMA is going to be able to get some damage done, but with these mutas, Solar has taken such good care of them, and they're going to be able to clean up what's left of this army, and with that, I think MMA is going to have to tap out. He's got a few more Marines moving across the map. Solar could actually lose a muta or two here, but there's just still so much, and Solar's investing in more and more Banelings. The fact that he hasn't had to remake any of these mutas has allowed him to invest heavily into these Banelings, which has really turned the tide in these engagements. MMA is going to try and take one final fight, but his splits haven't been that great throughout this game, and he just doesn't have enough. GG gets called. That was a good last split there from MMA, but it was too little too late. Solar, I think that game just found a few too many Baneling connections there. Very well played, though. MMA, he tried. He had a nice lead. He scouted the Nidus, but wasn't able to seal the deal there. And that sort of just shows the caliber of player that Solar is. Like, MMA having a hard time closing it out. Third map is going to be Lost and Found. So we're going to get on into the game here. Once again, I do apologize if I'm sounding a little nasally here, guys. I'm, unfortunately, getting a little bit sick. I wake up and I think, oh no, I have to cast today. But thanks everyone for tuning on in. We're going to get these players into the lobby and get ready for the next match. Alrighty, both these players are ready. We're going to hop on into the next match. Possibly the last best of 5 finishing up here if MMA is not able to bring it back. But thanks to everyone for tuning on in. And we're going to get into the next game. I know MMA is a fan favorite. I'd become even more of a fan if he's able to bring this one back. It's a tall order, though. But we'll see if he's able to do it against this man, spawning up in the top right-hand side of the map, playing for Team Splice and doing a damn good job representing them. It is Solar. And his opponent, playing for Team Expert, it is MMA. He had a nice lead in the last game, but wasn't able to close it out. We'll see what he's going to do this game. Alright, I apologize for that second of downtime there. But fortunately these guys, with the tried and true, sticking with the similar build, well, similar openings anyway. MMA has changed it up in these games. First game going for a 2-on-1, the second going for, I guess, just opening up with Hellions, and then eventually scouting the Nidus. Looks like he was really planning on going for a 3-base play there. So we're just going to have to see how this is going to play out. The next match will be between the two winners, pardon me. So we're just going to see what are these two guys going for. MMA going for that factory, following it up. Marines scouting out for MMA, making sure there's nothing too cheeky. This is the vision of MMA there.
Add-on complete.
Watching that for too long will make everyone sick, make me even more sick. But third base on the way for Solar. We'll see what MMA is going to be going for. He's going for those Hellions once again. MMA rocking that SC 20th anniversary decal. Idle SCV. Okay, there we go. Goes to build another depot. All is well. MMA moving out with these Hellions here. Viking on the way. That can deny scouting. Ling goes down there as Solar tries to find out exactly what MMA is going for. Overlord's coming in. Gonna get the identification, but will pay for it with its life. Actually, Speed just finished up, so that other Overlord will be safe there. Third CC on the way for MMA. Has not been scouted by Solar just yet. Solar did scout Stim, but hasn't identified there's a third. Can likely assume it. Terrans have been being pretty respectful, going for a lot of macro play lately. Particularly someone like MMA, who has a reputation for something like that. Hellions working away on a queen. Transfuse goes down, saves it there. MMA, interestingly enough, did stop at just the 4 Hellions. Some Terrans go for 6. Does indicate that he wants to transition quicker. Maybe got up that third CC a little bit quicker as a result, too. Making little tweaks like that. Siege tank on the way. Solar going for a lair. Muta's worked out well for him last time. I think defending on this map could be a little tough with just the Lings here. A little tougher, anyway, than the previous map. But we'll see what he's able to do. That Viking. Just looking around, not finding much, though. 4th base on the way for Solar. MMA did not scout that, though. 1-1 on the way for both of these guys, too. Thank you very much for the balloons. Page 0305, or I could 6 toll $XY, I guess. I mean, it is tough to pronounce the Korean names, but thank you very much. I would love to learn Korean personally. However, unfortunately, there's no local classes near me. Overlord is going to go down. MMA getting a nice bit of damage with the drop. This is sort of the calm before the storm, before things really heat up, though. 2 Overlords is a nice pickup for MMA, though. Gonna have to get out of there. Losing 2 Marines, but Solar doing a good job defending that. Combat shield on the way for MMA. Standard stuff. We're really going to have to see what he decides to do. I mean, when he was on that first map, on the very large 4-player map, the name escapes me, forgive me, but even though we just had a match on it not long ago, but MMA was looking quite alright on that. Like, he wasn't exactly worried. He was still just playing straight up, but then eventually Solar did find a little bit too much with the run-bys. And Solar has been loving his Lings, by the way. He's just made so many every game. This game, he's going for Mutas once again. There's the Spire. There it is. +1 on the way for the Mutas. Now, he did a fantastic job keeping his Mutas alive last game. He did a brilliant job. I think he maybe lost 1 or 2 Mutas at the end, and that was it. And that just allowed him to make so many Banelings, and that just allowed him to defend so easily. Two on the way for MMA. Carapace melee on the way as well. Muta is chasing these medivacs. One of them may go down. That was a full medivac there. There goes another full medivac. That's quite a blow to MMA, and now he's going to have to defend this. He is not really... Well, he's getting a missile turret or two up. He's got his 4th base. About to get up, so this could be a longer game. And now Solar is getting into his 5th base. That Viking will go down. Mutas pick off a tank there, and I don't think a Muta went down. 1 Muta for 1 tank. Alright trade, I guess. Better for Solar, I'd say. Resources-wise, anyway. MMA making some Thors. I do like to see this. Thors with their... I mean, it's been a while now, but Thors, it takes quite a few Lings and Banelings to take them out. They're just so tanky, so useful for Terran. They're basically just a super Marauder in this case, and Medivacs can also be used in order to push away Mutas. +1 armor on the way will benefit the Medivacs and the Thors too. We'll see if MMA does eventually get the weapons in order to make the Thors extra effective against the Mutalisk. These siege tanks are actually exposed once again though. And Solar's coming in. He could get 1 or 2 of them. A Thor is going to boost in, but there goes 1 siege tank. Oh, a few Mutas do go down though. More Marines can actually catch them. Oh, nicely done by MMA there. Now he did manage to get a good number of those Mutas. 5 of them there. So that's a nice blow to Solar. However, Solar is already maxed out. He's remaking a good number of Lings instead of the Mutas, and now he's getting into the Hive. So eventually MMA is going to have to poke out. MMA needs to build a turret or 2 at his 4th base. No turret in his main base. 2 turrets at his 3rd is nice. Manages to pick off a Muta there. MMA, he's just splitting up his units here. Although eventually I think he will have to go for a big push. It's just a little bit concerning. MMA, I almost want to see him use F2. Like, he's got just various Hellbats, Marines sitting around. I mean, it's a little worrying here. If he doesn't bring all his forces when he goes for a big fight. Oh my! 4 Ghost Academies on the way. We could be seeing that late game here. I have a slight suspicion. 3 CCs on the way, so we are going to be seeing that late game Ghost style MMA versus Solar. Now, Solar already has a huge bank, and he's got a ton of Lings, so he can maybe always try and find something to happen. Few Mutas going down. Nicely done by MMA there. Only gets 2, and then going to be able to get out of there. A few of those Marines forced to walk out of there. Now, MMA going to want to secure a 5th base relatively soon. He's getting up turrets. He's getting up sensor towers. He's getting up ghosts. He's getting up nukes. Now, Massling is pretty good versus ghosts. And so MMA does need to make sure he doesn't really neglect the siege tank part of his army. Or the Thor part of his army. Otherwise, eventually Solar could just roll in with literally a ton of Banelings. And that'd be it. Now Solar is teching up though, so is MMA. MMA going for a drop or 2. Solar realizing that it's going into the late game, he's taking pretty much every base that he can find. And literally every base that MMA, well, all but this one. Most importantly, is taking the bottom right and the bottom left. Any resources you can mine off that in a long game, very good for the Zerg player. Now we'll see how many nukes MMA does go for, as they can always deal a blow to your opponent, but if it does go really, really late, they can just be a money sink, and then eventually the Terran player will regret it. After this game, I will look into the whole issue with stream quality. Nice drop for MMA. Gonna deny that base in the top left. Nicely done. MMA maxed out, but he needs not to fall into the common Terran blunder, I guess, in which you make a bunch of nukes and you nuke excessively because you have resources. But here we go, nukes in the main, nukes in the natural, and I mean, this is going to be a lot of dead larvae, but not much else will die from the scheme of things. In the main base, though, there's the second nuke. Massive explosion there. That paid for itself. As long as MMA gets 1 or 2 of these, and he's just playing mass nukes right now. Nuking the 3rd, nuking the 4th base. Hellbat's getting up. There's another ghost somewhere going for a nuke. It's actually the same 2 ghosts, and oh, they're going to land at the 4th. The third base one was saved, but the fourth base, 28 drones have gone down to nukes so far. Okay, MMA is just turning it on, but if we still look at the bank here, it's pretty ridiculous. This ghost will actually go down. It did not have cloak, so that was a bit of a waste of a nuke there. A Thor is caught by Lings and Banelings, does go down. And now MMA, he's got his arm, he's so spread out here, but he's teching into a lot of ghosts, he's making more and more nukes. So the most important thing to watch is resources lost and the bases these guys are mining off of. Because if Solar manages to mine off more bases than is his share, MMA needs to be extra efficient. And then again, it does come down to the player who's not being as efficient. A drop going down. MMA will have to unload that there. These Marines need to unload. Oh, didn't need the dive bomb unload. A few Banelings going down. These guys trading constantly. Fourth base is being rolled into. Third base, pardon me. A lot of SCVs going down. These so many Banes, so many things. MMA could have a tough time dealing with this. A nuke going off at the third. Good reaction by Solar. Oh, more drones are transferring though. The mutas. Oh, this could be huge. Oh, a massive shot there by MMA with the nukes. Another one going off at the natural. Solar having a tough time dealing with this. There's an Overseer right over this one, though. So this one I think will be cancelled. Nuke on some Queens. Come on, MMA. That was a little excessive there. The Queens do move. And the Ghost will likely die. The Ghost is running. Solar is sort of having to play cat and mouse with these ghosts here, but resources lost. MMA, he's getting some good nuke connections. Picking off those mutas was a nice one. Bank-wise, though, he's just dumping all his money into ghosts and nukes. And if MMA eventually just doesn't have enough bases or doesn't have enough resources, that's pretty problematic for him. I mean, you can nuke all day, but the resources lost is the big deal here. So MMA sort of just trading with Solar at this point. Those siege tanks picking off a good number of those Lings there, but these mutas will be able to shut them down. Some more of the ghosts coming. They can actually snipe some of the mutas there. And they do. Nicely done. Base in the bottom right going down. Very well done by MMA. Once again, Solar not mining on either of these bases as well. And Solar will start to mine out quicker than MMA. Spore and Spine being built at each base, well, at most bases, in order to defend from these nukes. MMA is playing a bit of a unique style right now. Queens are going to go down, a nuke at the third base. MMA coming in from a different angle. Trying to keep Solar busy. This nuke will go off, gonna maybe pick off a Spore. Kills the drone, so a bit of damage done there. At least it wasn't completely invading that nuke. Resources lost. I think MMA is pulling more and more ahead though. Currently about 1,500 resources ahead roughly. Finding a way to nuke in at the natural. That Ghost does get scouted though, this Overseer. Solar gonna react in time. So MMA, keep in mind, when he nukes and loses the Ghost, that's like 600 resources right there. If he nukes and gets a mediocre trade, it's fine, but if he nukes and loses the Ghost, that just makes things a lot worse. Now, Solar going for a run-by. Ghost sniping mutas for days here, by the way. 12 SCVs have gone down. Resources lost. Solar losing a bit. Now MMA building a CC on the right. It would be good to... Solar's bank, though, is still shooting up, but eventually he is going to want to secure another base. I mean, his 5th base isn't looking too hot, and he's got his 6th base up, but anything beyond that could be tough. He's on 84 drones, too, which is why his bank is building so much. But MMA has just not been going for that big fight. I think we may need to see something else, because Marines and Ghosts can just be rolled over by a ton of Banelings. That's something we need to keep in mind here. Solar is going for Infestors as the counter, but we'll just have to wait and see. A drop is moving out. All these Marines are maybe going to go to the bottom right. Solar planning another run by here. This command center's seen a lot of stuff. As another ghost goes down there. These two mutas gonna come on in, but there's two missile turrets. MMA moving to the bottom right. Picking off the spore. Gonna get out of there. Infestors are out, but MMA does see that. And all the Broodlords that Solar has been building as well. I don't think I really mentioned that. But Solar has been making quite a scary army. MMA now, by the way, is building up quite a large bank. He's not been making as many ghosts, not been nuking as much. Is actually picking off a good bit of static defense. This is pretty expensive too. I keep reiterating on the whole cost of this business. Here's another nuke for MMA. This ghost, I believe, will end up going down. Solar pulls out of the way. But I mean, he gets a drone or two. That helps make it worth it, but the unit does end up going down. So Marines actually get a Viper there. Nicely done. MMA taking some good trades, getting a lot of good snipes off. And he's looking better and better in this game. His bank is growing. Resources lost. He's taking very good trades, sniping a lot of the Broodlords, but these ghosts could go down. Most of these ghosts do fall too. So he does have to retreat there, but does get some good snipes off. This drop continuing on, harassing more and more. Marines are going to pick off some more of these drones. They may have to lift off and get out of there. The Broodlords are standing strong still. MMA has a few Vikings hanging around. He's just got a secondary army just chilling. Like, this Thor and these tanks have been sitting here forever. There's still the initial Hellbat, or one of the initial Hellbats. MMA now going to bring his entire army here. This is good to see. I mean, when he took that fight versus the Broods, that was not his entire army, so maybe he could have taken a better fight. He's now scanning the bottom right. A few Banelings are going to roll in. Sets that CC on fire. We'll see if MMA repairs it. Static defense going up, and Infestor does get sniped. Went the wrong way. Marauder's going to run forward, try and be a hero. If it picks off an Infestor, that would be very nice. And it may just do. That's always something nicely done. More and more Infestors are coming forward, though. There's the siege tanks and all the ghosts. The Vikings are there to help out as well. And there's not too much anti-air here. A lot of these ghosts are... Oh, a Baneling comes forward. A lot of Banelings roll forward. MMA not taking the best fight there. Now these Broodlords are still poking forward. Relatively uncontested. Some snipes are going to go off, but there's not really enough ghosts to handle these Broods. A few more Vikings are there too. Resources lost. MMA is still in the lead. The banks for both players have been depleted a little bit. Solar, though, still has quite a good bank. Lots of snipes are going to go down on this army now. But there's so many Broodlords. There's quite a large army on the ground. MMA's forced to fight back. He's retreating to his planetary. Snipes going down on a lot of Overseers there. Solar making more Banelings, though, and Banelings have done quite a bit of damage to this army of MMA. MMA has also made no attempt to expand to the top left yet. He actually scans, maybe expecting a base there. So yeah, I was going to say, just float a CC over there, drop some mules, why not? As these players are starting to mine out. MMA just slowly mining on some of his... He's needs to move some of those SCVs, but really mining out the important base quickly. Marine drop is moving out. There goes a nuke attempting to land. Those Marines sort of pathed wrong a little bit. Some creep going to get cleared up by this bio. May actually tip Solar off to the fact that MMA is taking the bottom left. That Ghost lands the nuke, but doesn't find too much with it there. MMA may go for another, and he will. We'll see if Solar reacts to this. It's actually right on top of those Broods. Solar does move it, though. Not going to have detection, though. A nuke landing at the 4th base while being called down. Unfortunately for MMA, that was in a very bad spot. So Nuke's not finding too much damage done there. MMA now has the space. He's going to start dropping mules. This is very important here. Needs to drop mules for days. Solar now looking to expand to this base. These mules are mining a little bit, though, so at least MMA going to have that to bolster his economy. But looking at Solar's economy, his is now rather poor. He's doesn't have a great income. Snipes going down on some queens there. Ghosts are very expensive, though, so that's important to keep in mind. There's another nuking ghost. Actually going to snipe an Infestor. That's a decent trade. Maybe it can get another one. That would be very nice here. And it shall, and it does indeed. Ghost does die, though. Oh, massive fungal goes down on some of those ghosts, though. And that is just a money fungal right there. That picks off so much. These tanks are going to start firing away. Marauders come forward, but a lot of Lings get on top of these tanks, and this is just Ling Bane killing most of MMA's army right now. He's kiting back. But that was a nice trade from Solar there, and the resource is lost. Becomes even closer. Vikings moving forward here. There's not too many Corruptors left for MMA. I mean, for Solar, pardon me. A lot of snipes going down on these Broodlords there, but Banelings are coming forward now. MMA has to retreat. Vikings, though, are doing work here. There's not too much to contest them. There's 5 Corruptors, but they weren't in position, so Vikings getting a few free shots off there, but they are going to be contested now. But these Ghosts can snipe those. MMA needs to be careful. He could be overcommitting here. He's pulling back, doing a good job microing these tanks, actually being a good buffer there. And the Ghosts do stay alive, and this is the most important part of the army. Snipes going down on some Infestors, EMPs as well. Energy is relatively low for both these guys. Looks like an EMP landed on some of the Vipers too, where they burned most of their energy. Resources-wise, though, MMA is falling behind. His bank is mainly depleted. He's not maxed out. He does have the base in the bottom. Well, it's not landed. Solar's looking to take it. And Solar is mining off the space in the bottom right, so he has more longevity right now. A nuke is being called down, maybe to try and... Oh, it's actually all these morphing broods. This could be huge. We're just going to have to see. A tank is sieging up at the third base. Oh, is the nuke going to land? Oh, the nuke lands. Gets a massive connection there on a ton of the Broodlords. So many resources going down there. And that chips into Solar's bank quite a bit. Some Ghosts moving forward, trying to land some EMPs, it looks like, and they do. Now the only thing to stop MMA moving forward is these Banelings. There is just a few Banelings, though, but that's all it can take at times. The base in the bottom right goes down, and that is pretty huge right now. That's going to maybe buy MMA a bit more time in this game. However, if MMA secures the base in the bottom right, and Solar takes the base in the bottom left, that is a win for Solar, because Solar has been mining off on the base on the bottom right for quite a while. A good chunk of the gas is still there, however, some of the minerals are mined. Although that nuke really did buy MMA quite a lead in the resources lost here. And I keep referencing back to that, but it could become very important as we're 26 minutes into this game. MMA is getting set up. It looks like he's trying to secure this base. Broodlords are coming forward. He scans the army. He sees this. He needs to get set up. He's moving a lot of his tanks forward. This could be very important right now. Snipes going down on a queen, but it's really all about the positioning right now. And this is a good chunk of siege tanks, though. But Solar's moving forward right now. We'll see if the Ghosts are able to get some snipes off on this army. The bio's there to buffer. Snipes are blanketing. So many snipes go down instantly. A blinding cloud goes down, forces the army of MMA back. He's kiting back on like 3 different fronts right now. Ghosts are getting connected to by Banelings, but suddenly the army of Solar's thinned out a lot. A fair few amount of Ghosts still stand, and Solar's getting pushed back right now. MMA is down on the army supply, though. The question is there enough snipes to deal with these Broodlords? And there is a lot of Broodlords left still. That is the majority of Solar's army. 9 Broodlords, 19 Ghosts, so it's possible that MMA could have just taken a very favorable trade. Solar's not going to be able to remax anymore. However, he is mining in the bottom left. That is a huge deal right now. Ultra is moving forward. These 2 Ghosts will deal with it, though. MMA investing in more and more of those high-tech units. A Ghost with a bit of energy is going to look to nuke the bottom left. MMA knows that Solar has the space, or at least has clued into it. Yeah, he knows it was building there. Now MMA securing this base in the bottom right. It's important that he starts mining all the resources here that he can. Solar is starting to remax, so is MMA. A nuke's going down to the bottom left here. We'll see. Oh, this Ghost actually does go down. MMA, I think, may need to go for a drop or something along those lines at this space. Solar actually not realizing the Ultra killed the Ghost, pulling the drones. That's just how busy these guys are trying to keep an eye on everything. MMA, I think, needs another medivac or 2 with this army, if he can afford it. But for now, he does need to hold this base. It is absolutely everything for him. More Broodlords are being made. Well, pardon me, those are Overseers. But this ground army for Solar is looking pretty scary. It could be enough to finish off MMA. MMA does have the Planetary Fortress, though, but still, if these Broodlords stand strong with the rest of the army, it could that could be all it takes. The base in the bottom left, uncontested right now. Solar has the fresh economy. MMA dropping a lot of mules on the bottom right, though. Still has a few resources coming in at other bases. But as far as his gas front, he's mined out pretty much everywhere. He's going to need to start mining as much gas from this bottom right base as he can. It may not be important to him right now. He needs a lot of minerals, but it could be important later on. Ling run by going down right now. Ling's trading very effectively. This one Marauder being microed back though. MMA, good job. Every resource matters right now, and he knows this. And MMA has a healthy lead right now. But Solar did mine a little bit of resources on the bottom right, so that's not as significant as you'd think. Now, Spore's not in position there to scout this Ghost, so it's actually going to be able to shut that down. Deny the mining a little bit. I'm going to shoot a few Zerglings there. The more and more it shoots, the more that nuke was worth it. But now another counterattack by Solar, however, doesn't get too much done there, just picks off a tech lab or two. MMA poking forward there. These Broodlords are by themselves, basically. Ghosts, where are the Ghosts? The Ghosts have pulled back to the main base. Both these guys playing with limited information, too. MMA dropping a lot of mules, so I don't think he has too many scans. And it's possible right now that MMA is going to be tying the series up. This game is looking better and better for him. He's now ahead in supply. He's having to fight tooth and nail for this, but he may just have done it. He's even gotten a few more medivacs, so his army's going to have a lot more longevity. I don't even think there's a... or actually, there is infestors, pardon me. Where are they? They're just moving across the map. But that's probably the last few infestors that Solar has, so they're going to need a fantastic engagement. MMA's mining off his base in the bottom right. He's practically mined it out with all the mules he's dropped, and then he can set his sights on the base in the bottom left for Solar. That's a benefit of Terran. Mules let you mine out the base much, much quicker. Base going down in the bottom right. The spires are actually exposed. Ghost goes down. Scans for MMA are such a huge tool to see what's going on. Scan in the bottom left, though, as MMA moves in. Now, this is pretty dangerous as he's splitting his army, but if he picks off his base, that's really going to cut into Solar's economy, and now I think MMA just needs to get out of there. Fighting on two fronts is very risky, but he's doing it right now. He's pushing. The main threat right now, though, is the Broodlords for MMA. It's always possible that the Ghosts just get wrapped up in something, and then there's not enough AA, and that's how Solar can take the game, but we shall see here. Forced liftoff there. MMA now using this cliff. Snipes the Zergling. That's the most inefficient snipe you can have, but why not? Solar now long distance mining, so his economy is not great and resources lost. MMA is now the player that's building the bank. Solar. Now keep in mind the space for MMA. He did not get all the resources here though. So it's hard to know how it's going to math out if Solar does manage to successfully mine out this base. How it will come down to, but MMA's army is quite scary. He's making more and more Ghosts. He's got 20 right now. He's got a Thor. He's got a good chunk of Marines. These guys are just trying to get the best trades possible here. This is a crazy game here. MMA is moving out, but it's so risky. He's moving out with just a small portion of his army, and that makes me so nervous here. Lots of scans going down. MMA wants to try and do the 1-2 punch, but maybe a medivac or two full of Marines and Marauders. Anything more, like moving out with siege tanks and Ghosts on multiple fronts, I think it's just far too risky. Ghost is going in right now. It's going to distract Solar a great deal. We'll see if MMA is going to do anything during that. He is not. Ghost maybe trying to get a sniper too, but as long as there's infestors, it's risky for MMA. Looks like he's going for a few. Gets an EMP, but actually misses one of them. So a lot of the Ghosts get tied up there, but he is retreating. There wasn't a follow-up quick enough for Solar there. Does lose a few units, but that one Viper, the MVP, abducts two of the medivacs there. A few snipes going down on some of those units there. Trades are hard to gauge at the moment right now. Solar's spilling forward right now. There's not too much on the ground for MMA. Is this his entire army here? Just these Ghosts? No, there's the rest of his army. MMA fighting without his entire army once again. Banelings roll forward. A good fungal there too. We're going to see. This could be the last fight right now. MMA is down on supply. Solar's rolling forward. There's not enough to contest the army, and Solar just goes for it and manages to take the game and the series. So after such a long-fought battle that looked like it may finally turn his way, Solar, just a decisive move, goes forward with the Banelings. I think that was just... That's just MMA. I think he was a little bit too bold. He fought, he lost some of his goats. He was just... His army was superior at the time. If he maybe set up, tried to bait Solar in, but he was not ready for that fight. And because of that, it was a great game. We had great showings from MMA today. But it just wasn't enough. And as a result, I think if he tweaked his late game play a little bit there, he could have definitely had that game. But now we're going to be getting into the next match, which is going to be... Hold on. This should be another great Terran versus Zerg here. So, Keen versus Solar. Unfortunately, MMA is out, but we're going to have another great game right now. That was a fantastic last game. Thanks to MMA for coming out. Thanks to LaughNgamez for coming out, but we got our 2 finalists now. And so we'll find out where Keen is at. We'll tell him it's time to play versus Solar in a best of 7. So make sure to stay tuned. And we'll have a short break, and then we'll be back. Thanks for watching, guys.